Hey everybody, Bill in Virginia. Welcome back. This week I am picking up where I left off last week on getting the bridge deck prepared for my one curve trestle on the O scale layout. Now, at the end of last week's episode, I noted I was transitioning to the KISS method, which is keep it simple, stupid. After I spent a lot of time trying to get a flex track curved into the proper radius. Didn't work so well. The whole process worked. The track actually looks good. It just didn't come out to the radius that I wanted. So I landed on the bright idea of just taking the sectional track that I already had in place and making it into a bridge track. And so far, the results are pretty good. The spacing looks nice. And this is going to be a nice deck for the bridge. So what I am doing is I'm cutting the webbing between the ties that are existing here. And you can see I've got a number of them cut already. I'm not going too crazy. I'm leaving a lot as I work. I will cut this one out. And then what I'll do is I will take my diamond file and I'll just kind of go in and I'll rough these up just to kind of give it so that the super glue will give a better bite on the ties that I put in there. Now for the ties, I took the ties off of a piece of O-scale flex track and just used the hot knife method and cut them out. And then I went in, and it's kind of hard to see, but I nipped the little tie plate on each side so that I've got a hook that'll still bite onto the rail, same direction, and then I will put that onto the track, which the outer curve will be what's facing out for people to look at. So I'll put the complete tie plate on that and just kind of snap it into place. So I'll kind of show you here what I'm doing real quick. And again, do this when you're in a secure place with good ventilation, and you're not worried about starting anything on your floor on fire. So I'm going to take out that little piece of webbing first, and I just get the knife good and hot. Doesn't take long, just so that it'll slice through that plastic, come in, and you'll be able to feel when it bites onto it. You got to put a little bit of moderate pressure. And if it doesn't get it all in the first, you go back and you do it again. And there we go. Kind of hard to see, but there's that little webbing. It's done. So all of the tracks that I want to do with this piece are completed. Now I'll take the little diamond file and just go in and rough up the track just a little bit. Doesn't need much. You're just trying to get it where it has a good bite to it. And I've been doing just 7 gaps at a time as I've been doing this piece of track. And I don't want to go too crazy on it, but I do want to get enough where, you know, it makes it worth my while. Okay, those tracks are done. This particular one, I've still got to cut just ever so slightly. So take the knife and just kind of come in and take off like the bottom on top and bottom. And then just kind of keep track of where those are. Now, for what I use for super glue is I'll use this all-purpose rapid fuse. And again, not a sales pitch, but I just find it actually works pretty good. So for that, just come in and I'm putting a drop on the rail. Don't have to be neat because everything is going to be painted. So you just want to get it on there where it'll get a good adhesion when I press the ties into place. All right, so that part's done. So now I'm just going to take the ties. Whoop, there goes my Aztec fire stick. So the ties just get put into place, and then they tend to snap when they're aligned properly. You'll be able to feel it. And there we go. And the nice thing with the rapid fuse is it leaves you enough time so that you can go back in and adjust the spacing if you need to, ever so slightly. There, you can hear that one snap. And I would assume this will work for other scales. However, anything like HO or N probably will be okay, but maybe a little bit more difficult. That one does not want to snap in place. There we go. You know, and the paint job afterwards will hide any defects or issues that come from this. There. Back side of the track looks good. There's the front side. Now you can see the reflections off of the super glue in some of those locations. A little bit of difference even with the ties. You can tell which ones came from the flex track, which ones didn't. But once that dries, not gonna see it. Once it's painted, definitely not gonna see it. So I will go and do the rest of the track. When I get to the joint here, I will open this up and I will super glue right onto the back of the rail joiner. So I'll do a little bit more work on the tie in that location, but you know, it's got a good bite. I'm not gonna do a whole heck of a lot more to it, you know, just to make it look good, and then I'll continue on. So next video should have this completed. That worked. I have my bridge deck for my curved trestle built. Those two pieces of sectional track, you know, this process worked beautifully. You can see where I've got my rail joiners. I've got one piece in here. This Atlas track had a few little notches, but you know, from a distance, you're not going to see it. When it's painted, it's all going to kind of blend in, and when I get it weathered, even better. Now, what I am going to do is, that's the piece of flex track that I was taking the ties off of. You know, if you'd watched some of my end scale episodes a month or so, actually probably a couple of months ago, I was making the guardrails for the trestles that I've got on that. I am going to use those pieces of flex track to make the guardrails on this curved deck. That'll happen a little bit later, but that'll give me an opportunity to use that rail bender that I got at the Richmond Greenberg train show. And I still haven't put this stuff away because it's just the day after the train show that I'm doing the filming on this. I get a lot of fun on the weekends out on the layout. And I don't get flack about it because I'm in the garage. I'm not anywhere else, so it's always good. So anyway, let's see what I can do with this. I am gonna start marking out where this is gonna go. And again, it's gonna go right there, but I'm gonna mark out for where I'm gonna be making some cuts on that plywood so that I can get this bridge started. And let's see what I can do in this episode to get that bridge moving along. So here's that piece of track back in position. I will mark off where my cuts are going to be made. Then I can go underneath and I can do some cross bracing. So just kind of an angle iron, or not iron, but just an angle from here down to here to brace this piece up. Likewise, over here, I'll be able to put a little angle piece down to this upright, again, just to make it so that the ends don't flex. And then I will remove this piece. And then I will take this off again, flip it over, and I'll start building up the bridge, because I know this is going to be a deep gorge. There's going to be, you know, bents for this trestle going all the way down to almost to here. So this ought to be a pretty interesting scenic feature on the layout. And I don't need to have the ON30 even started to put this bridge in, because I know that's what I designed it for, was to have this deep gorge on this side. So I can move ahead with that. So the rail bender works really slick. There's the original piece of flex track. Here is after a couple of minutes of gradually putting a little bit of pressure on it as it's running through here. It's actually now to the right size already. So this is going to work really good for the guardrails. So I'll just kind of do the other piece, put them in position just to kind of show, but I won't actually put them on until probably the very last thing once I actually build the bridge. So I have the rails bent, and they're at about a 24-inch radius. I'm only using light finger pressure to hold them in position. I'm going to do like I did on the end scale. I will make sure that the wheels will go in that gap using the tie plates as a spacer. And then when I get over to the ends, I will bring them together and make a point like what you see coming off of bridges. So right now I'm going to put these tracks away, and I'll bring them out once I get the bridge done, and that will be the final piece on this. But that track bender worked beautifully. Tracks are in pretty good shape. So I'm a happy camper. I'll rough up the back with the diamond file just like I did. Apply a very thin patch of glue. Once I get to that point, I'll line them up, press it in place, hold it. I'll be good. So this is turning out quite well so far. Well, another weekend comes to an end in Richmond, Virginia. And I got a fair amount done. Had a great weekend. And I am starting on the tall trestle, the curved trestle. So I've got a few of my uprights in place. I am starting to do some of the cross bracing. I will get much more of the cross bracing done before I go any further on that. And the end of what this trestle is right there. So I've got quite a bit to do, but I've got all of the bents out for it. I am spacing them roughly 2.5 inches apart on the outward radius. Obviously it gets a little bit closer inside. So I am putting them on, and you can already see, it's going to be curved. So this ought to be pretty good. I got those uprights off eBay. I spent about 40 bucks to get a lot of them. So enough to do this bridge, enough to do that one that I'll be using out of that straight piece that I made, and then probably another one, probably a shorty somewhere that'll go over on that long stretch. Also, I just won an eBay purchase for another engine like that. Now, this one, the seller is stating it is unpowered, but it comes in a box that's for that 10-wheeler, and the box says powered. From the pictures, it's kind of hard to tell, but it does look like it's got metal drivers on it, which would indicate a chance that it's powered. So, but for 50 bucks, you know what? I can keep it. It looks actually better than this engine. And I could find a motorizing kit at some point and make it a powered locomotive. But anyway, that is it for this weekend. That's it for this video. I will continue to do some more, but you know what? Keep having fun on your layouts. Until next time.